Hello guys, my name is Larry and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to go over a topic that I hope helps you a little bit. Service connection by aggravation. Of course we're dealing with veterans, so I don't think I need to explain that anymore. Alright, let's go over the topic. Let me say something. It is January the 19th. It's about 8:30 in the morning. We're in South Texas down here where all them illegals jumping across the fence and coming right into our good old country here. And we don't know what's with them illegals. There's a whole bunch of different other people. So just make sure you keep yourself protected. It's nice chilly weather. But hey, for South Texas when it's 31 degrees, 32 and 36 degrees, that's pretty cold, ain't it? Okay. Now let's jump to the video. Service connection by aggravation. When a service connection condition worsens an already existing disability. There are two flavors of service connection by aggravation. Remember this, guys. Aggravation of a pre-existing or pre-service condition and or aggravation of an existing post-service condition. Unlike other forms of service connection, aggravation has an extra layer of complication in determining your rating. Aggravation of a pre-existing pre-service condition when your military service worsens a pre-existing condition. Before you join the military, you underwent a physical examination at a military entrance processing station. We all did. MEPS, they call it, in parentheses. During this examination, any pre-existing issues is recorded. You know, they say, well, you got a scar over here, what was this from? You got a scar over here, what was this from? If you are schizophrenia, well, they're going to know that right away. If you suffer from depression, they're going to figure that out right away. And that's going to be factored into all of your other conditions. During this examination, any pre-existing issues is recorded. I do know that for a fact. I've got my original military records, and man, it's showing every little detail. It's got the drawings of my body, it's got arrows pointing certain ways, and it's telling them what was wrong with me prior to going into the military. The VA is instructed to presume soundness. That is, if nothing is recorded, that the veteran came in with nothing wrong. Now with that said, there are exceptions. If a chronic condition is diagnosed shortly after service starts, and it could be medically concluded, in parentheses, more likely than not, that this condition exists before service, the VA will just not assume the condition just popped up during service. That's pretty important there. I'll repeat it again. If a chronic condition is diagnosed shortly after service starts, and it could be medically concluded, more likely than not, that this condition exists before service, the VA will just not assume the condition just popped up during service. Big bold letters, not. The VA would just not. It's funny how they put that in wording, right? This said, it is still possible to get service connection if medical evidence shows a condition exists prior to your service. So it's telling you here that you can get a service connection from a medical issue that popped up prior to you enlisted in the service or at the time when you signed up and you had your physical exam. So it's kind of confusing to me, but it does say that it can be service connected. I bet there's some other little pinpoint needles and sticking all over the place in that one area. You got to try to figure that one out. Okay, let's look here. Examples include medical records dated prior to service, starting or x-rays that show well-healed pre-existing bone fracture. And below that it's got an important note. However, statements from the veterans themselves or others that a condition exists before service hold zero weight unless there is medical evidence that backs up those statements. Setting up consideration. So your MEPS records indicated that a condition existed before service. Now, in order for the VA to consider a condition under aggravation of a pre-existing pre-service condition, the VA must establish two things. What is the level of severity, and was it before service, and what the level of severity was during / after service. Then it goes on to say severity for VA purposes is established by the rating schedule. Ooh. For number one, in most cases, unless you say you got a medical waiver, your severity before service will be established at 0%, the big old goose egg. Now, number two is where things get tricky for a lot of veterans. If there are no complaints or treatment made in service for the pre-existing condition, you lose. Good day, sir. The VA needs proof that your service made your condition worse. It's kind of that way with the VA no matter what you do, no matter where you go. Even if you're trying to claim a service-connected disability in today's time, which that's why I called the date out, January 19, 2024. They are going to be changing a lot of the rating criteria this year. So I'm not sure how all this is going to play into the picture. What I'm bringing to you now is about 3 to 6 months old, or I just recently found it. So how it's going to be rated today may be a little confusing. We'll just have to look at the rating schedule, CFR 38s, and see how it works into the picture. Now, if you've never made any complaints in service or got treatment, then there is still hope. You can submit buddy statements in support of your claim. Alternatively, if the source of your aggravation is related to combat, then you do not need documentation. You just need to submit a personal statement explaining how the injury that aggravated your condition occurred. Plain paper cut. Okay, let's look here. Additionally, if your aggravation occurred as a result of a specialized skill, i.e. parachutist, you can state as much as it is fairly well established that taking hard landings can mess stuff up. That's a fact. If you was airborne, you jumped out of airplanes and you just constantly landing on your feet and on the back side of your body, there's going to be a lot of things you're going to wreck. You have a train wreck the rest of your life. Back issues, foot issues, knee issues, hip issues. You're going to have a lot. Here we go. Making a decision. The VA, now armed with elements 1 and 2, can now get a medical opinion on aggravation. The VA will now ask a medical professional to provide a medical opinion as to if your military service worsened your pre-existing condition, at least as likely as not beyond its natural progression. That's pretty important. Remember that. Here we go. Service worsened your pre-existing condition at least as likely as not beyond its natural progression. If the opinion is favorable, then you're good to go. If it's not, you better keep practicing and praying and doing your homework. Number 2, aggravation of existing post-service condition. If your service-connected condition or a condition that eventually becomes service-connected aggravates an existing condition, it can be service-connected. Now that was post-service. Setting up consideration. In order for the VA to consider a condition under aggravation of existing post-service condition, the VA must establish 2 things. What the level of severity was before aggravation and or what the level of severity was after aggravation. Then it goes on to state that in big O asterisk, severity for VA purposes is as established by the rating schedule. Now the rating schedule, like I said earlier in this conversation, is going to probably be changing in 2024. I expect it to come out between probably March and June. You're going to see some rating schedule changes. It is required that you supply evidence to the VA that shows the level of severity of the condition before aggravation, or as soon as possible after aggravation, but before the date of receipt of the evidence establishing the current level of severity of the aggravated condition. So I guess basically what they're saying is, if you're going to file a claim, make sure you got all your medical evidence, all your documentation, everything turned in before that rater makes his decision. And I think it's pretty clear here. Let's see. In short, if you do not show the VA has much, let me back up. In short, if you do not show the VA how much your service-connected condition aggravated a condition, you cannot get service connection. And then go on down to making a decision. The VA, now armed with elements 1 and 2, can now get a medical opinion on aggravation. The VA will now ask a medical professional to provide a medical opinion as to if your service-connected condition worsened your existing condition at least as likely as not beyond its natural progression. If the opinion is favorable, then you are good to go. Hey guys, if you're watching this video, we ask you to do one thing. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We're just an old small mom and pop channel out here on YouTube. I am a veteran. And I'm not one of these companies out here that's going to be linking you to a Nexus letter and linking you to an attorney and charging you $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $12, $13, $15,000. I'm just a veteran that's going through some of these claims processes, and I'm passing on the information that I have learned or that I have actually been involved in. So by you spending the time watching this YouTube video and sending it out to your buddies and friends and letting it play its entirety and hitting that thumbs up, like, and most important, leave us a comment down in the comment selections. You know, down in the description down below. Post a comment down there. Questions, whatever you might have. YouTube likes that. They like a lot of communication. The more communication goes on in this video, the more veterans it reaches, the more it helps us. Well, guys, again, I hope I shared some information that you enjoyed and that may help you with your claim or benefit, whatever you're trying to achieve. Thumbs up, like, subscribe. God bless you. We'll see you in our next video.